you allowed me the freedom to take care of another meeting for a team about
Awesome.
some cool stuff for the men out there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I figured we give it maybe just one more minute to see who else is going to hop on, and then we can start off with wins and gratitudes. Unless we want to go ahead and start off with wins and gratitudes while we're waiting for everybody else to hop on. We want to do that?
I'm good with that.
So I'm going to hop in first, and I am going to, it's not my win. It is my gratitude. So I want to celebrate Mona. I don't know if you guys have heard, but this past weekend she hit Crystal Executive, which is like, even as I'm saying it right now, I've got goosebumps from head to toe. I'm literally getting ready. I'm like on the verge of crying. I have watched this beautiful woman. She's been there always, like on the peripheral, and just in the past couple months has sort of become a part of my life. And I am so blessed to be able to call her my friend, and just to be able to watch her, all the amazing stuff that she is doing is just amazing. And I don't say that lightly, like, right, we could use that word day in and day out. But when I think of people who lead from the heart, who truly give of themselves, and who is more deserving than maybe some others. I said that, and it recorded. Fabulous. She built a business the way that I believe. And I know that I want to build a business, giving and loving on other people and just showing them, the possibilities. And so I am truly honored and blessed to be able to call her my friend and my business partner. So that's my win, and that's Mona's win and my gratitude.
Oh, you're too nice. You're too good. Can I tell you just a little bit about like how it happened, what happened? And it leads into my gratitude. So it actually started with a product user friend of mine who owns her own business separate from our world, and is an entrepreneur, married military spouse, struggling with her business, struggling with my business. We meet every Monday, and we've been doing this for months. And in April, my father was admitted to the ER for like the second or third time. Like, we're just very worried about him. I immediately fly home to go spend some time with him. So 1 week I'm in Texas with my dad in an emergency room, in a hospital room, and in a rehab facility. The next week was my husband's spring break from school. So we took a week to go run off and hide in the woods, which is perfect after having spent a week in this really terrible, sterile environment, to get to go be in nature for a week. So it was 2 weeks that I didn't do much to touch my business. Some Facebook posts, and that's it. And I had one of the worst business weeks I had in as long as I could remember. And I looked at my cycles and thought, oh my gosh, am I really, after working in this business for almost 3 years, regressing? Like, how depressing is that? So I meet on Monday with my friend and I tell her this. And she said, so what are you going to do about it? And I said, I don't know. I feel terrible. I don't know what I'm going to do about myself. And I said, the next goal is Crystal Director, and I'm not going to hit it because I don't have time. And so she asked me a simple question. She said, so what if you tried and you helped people and you changed lives and you made money, but you didn't hit it? Like, is that so bad? You helped people, you changed lives, you made money? Like, is that a terrible thing? And I'm like, maybe I should help people and change lives. And if I hit the goal, great. And if I don't, who cares? Because I did what I'm supposed to do. So I decided I'm going for this. And I missed hitting director. And I wasn't going to hit Crystal, but I was going to get back to director status. And I missed it by a day. And I was like, I don't even care. Like, who cares that I didn't, which is crazy because that was a lot of money on the table. So then we come into May, and I told her, I said, I'm going for this. Like, I think I can do this. I think I can create 4 more consultants. She said, how do you plan on doing it? I said, I don't know. So I basically asked friends, like, hey, I'm going for this goal. Can you help me out? Like, give me some referrals. Who can we talk to? Help the team. And it's amazing what people will do to help others when they don't think it has anything to do with themselves. So like one of my friends is like, well, I work out with these women. I give them my bars. Like maybe they'll buy bars too. I'm like, what an amazing thing. So we talked to her friends and they're like, yeah, we'll support the team. They have no idea what this means. They're just buying bars because they're supporting a team. I've got another friend who said, I'll enroll my husband. Like, why not? Like, that's my second person. Cool. Like, it was so crazy how just reframing the question to our team needs help and I need help. How can you pitch in? And people pitched in. And so then I hook up with my friend again and I'm like, you said these like words of, okay, so you help people, you change lives, you make money. Who cares if you hit any goals? Because wasn't that the goal? And I'm like, oh, you're right. And that was the goal. And then all of a sudden, like I looked at my phone and I was like, oh my gosh, this really did happen. And then I almost started crying because I'm like, now I have real work to do. Because now there's a lot of people that are expecting follow-up, help, support, love. And I'm like, but isn't that what I've been asking for? It was so confusing and so exciting. And I'm just so grateful that so many people said, I'll help this team, whatever this team meant to them, because they had no idea. But they offered some help. So my gratitude is to lots and lots and lots of people that said, okay, how can I help? That's my gratitude and my story all at the same time.
I have a gratitude. Can I throw gratitude out there, please? Is that all right, Mona? My gratitude being on the Zoom with you, for crying out loud. Every once in a while, when you are a part of anything that takes effort, takes work, and takes a mindset, you need a spark. And just being on here with you, Mona, is for sure a spark. And I think I'm speaking for other people too. So that's my gratitude.
Wow. Thank you.
I am so grateful that I was able to go to UIA. Mona and Katja and Amber, it was wonderful meeting you. We had no idea we were on the same team together. But I'm just so grateful that I was able to get there, and I learned a lot, and I will share more of that later on. But thank you.
So I just want to piggyback on that. Is how amazing is it that we can build a business and build a legacy company with people that we have never physically met, and then you finally get to meet them in person. It's like, oh my God, I've known you a lifetime, but I'm actually physically touching you. It's like, it just seems weird, right? Because it's usually the other way around. You meet people in person and then you get to know them, where we get to know people, virtually, and then actually get to see. I think it's so dynamic when you get to do it that way. Because I think, Mona, I met you for the first time at NYKO this year. And so to actually physically hug somebody or be in their space, like it's mind blowing. So.
Heart to heart.
Yes, heart to heart. I go and I hug people now, and I turn to this. So it's natural for us to hug like this, right? And so I'll turn so that I can hug to somebody else's heart, and they're like, what are you doing? And I was like, no, just hug me this way.
And then it's more natural.
Hi, you guys. It's me. It's Annie. Mona, I'm going to say something about you, and thank you so much for being patient with me in my busy life. And thank you for reminding me, especially on these calls. Sometimes it's tough because I have 4 boys and I just got back from soccer. And so I'm really grateful for you, for sure, and for this team. It's good to get to know you guys, whether it's on, I know it's Zoom, but I recognize faces, and I've seen you before. So I'm grateful, Mona. Thank you. And keep up all your hard work.
You're too kind. You guys are being too nice to me. So I have to give Annie quick props real quick.
Well, this
This
is your call, though. Isn't this this is,
our
you're
call.
amazing.
Annie
I
wakes
know,
up
right?
at 5:30 in the morning, and she and I have coffees on Tuesday. She and I have coffee on Tuesday mornings, 5:30 a.m. Pacific time, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, so we can make sure and get our call in. Because if it gets later in the day, then she gets too busy. And so when you find a teammate that says, "I'll get up in the 5 o'clock hour so that I can have an hour to talk about kids, to talk about nutrition, to talk about future events, to talk about people that are struggling, to talk about how we can help people, to talk about what we want to do together, talk about our next trip, whatever it's going to be." Like when you find someone that's going to wake up that early and doesn't care what they look like, even though she looks beautiful at 5 in the morning, it's kind of sick. Like hold on to those people and keep them very, very, very close, because there's not a lot of people in the world that will devote that kind of precious time to you. And it's pretty amazing when it happens. So when that does happen, keep it close to the heart, because good stuff. All right. Do we have any more gratitude, shout out, celebrations out there? Or do we want to jump into events again? All right. Katja?
Mona, one more to you. Being the bestest roomie ever this past weekend. We had a lot of fun. So I'm glad that all worked out.
Okay, I am a good roomie. I will say that, no problem. I have traveled with a lot of people, a lot of high maintenance people, a lot of easy people, and I am a pretty good roommate. So I rented a room and it had a king size bed, and it was going to be me by myself. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. And Katya says, I'll come. And then another friend says, I'll come. And it was going to be 3 strangers that had never roomed together in a king size bed. And she saved the day and found us a hotel room that had 3 separate sleep spaces. And we did great. So it worked out very, very, very well. But yeah, I am a pretty good roommate. Can't lie. One of my special talents. All right. My other special talent is somehow this year getting to events. And I am not a person that gets to events. Or I can say I am now a person that gets to events, but I had not been a person that got to events. So January comes, it's NYKO. It's a terrible time of year for me to travel. I've just spent way too much money and traveled to Texas to be with family. And then I have the Disney race series that I always do with my sister. And NYKO falls the weekend right before, right after Disney. So I'm tired and I'm feeling poor. So to get to another event is just like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. But if one teammate says, I'll show up, then I'm showing up. And Annie said, I'll show up. So she and I fly, we meet each other in Phoenix. Fortunately, we had my family there, and it ended up being a really amazing time. So I start off the year just on the right note. Fast forward, it's April. So April springtime, and I'm like, not sure. Do I really want to go to this Philadelphia event? And I have a teammate that says, I'll go. So I say, all right, let's do this. And I go, and it was very much like textbook isogenic stuff. Like we learned about nutrition. We learned how to host a Facebook event. We learned about our comp plan. Like we learned like the nuts and bolts of the isogenics business. And I come back, and that's when I said, you know what? I can go for Crystal Director. Like I've got enough tools in my tool belt now. I know the right words to say. I know the right tools to use. I can do this. Then we had the Dallas event. And once again, did not want to go. Did not want to go to Dallas. 5-hour drive or a 40-minute flight from my hometown, and my dad's sitting in a hospital bed because I live in Washington, D.C. So if I'm flying to Texas, I really should go see my dad. Or I really can go and prepare my mindset for the next time that I see my dad. And I chose, because once again, a teammate said she'll go. So I'm like, all right, I'll go too. And it really is going to help me be much more equipped to handle the challenges of not just the isogenics life, like nothing to do with isogenics, and everything to do with handling life's challenges. And we discussed a little bit about compensation and a little bit about cycles. So the event had nothing to do with isogenics, compensation, and cycles, and it had everything to do with compensation and cycles. Going there just solidified what I needed to hear after reaching executive because I've worked for executive on and off for 2.5 years. I've tried, I failed. I tried, I quit. I tried and gave up before I even tried. I thought about it. I journaled about it, gave up before I started, and then finally went for it. And so when you reach a goal like that, you think, oh my God, done. Yes. And the first thing they said is you get to executive and it's just a pass through. You're not done with Jack. And it's exactly what I needed to hear because I was so ready to drop my pack and not work anymore. I just busted my butt. I'm tired. And they said, no, you're not. You're not tired. Here, we're going to fill you up and we're going to give you all the energy and all the motivation and all the tools that you need so that you get back to work the day after you're done with your event. Who cares that you just busted your butt for 30 days? You've just begun. And had I not gone to Dallas, I would have dropped my pack. I'd have lost my consultants. I'd have lost my executive status. My business would have dropped. I'd have felt like dirt about myself. I would have wondered, am I able to do this? Am I equipped? Can I do it again? Oh my goodness, can't do. And been tired and depressed. Or I go to an event like that and I think, you know what? I know how to talk to people because they just taught me how to talk to people. I just spent 3 days learning how to talk to people. I just learned how to hug someone properly. I just learned how to ask questions. I just learned that any event I want to create and create how I want with who I want because authentically all we have to do is show up. And that's my Dallas story. And I had fun. And I had 2 new roommates. And I come back a better wife, a better daughter, a better human. And who wouldn't want to be better? Like, how cool is that? So that's all I have to say about that. Can my roommate say a little bit about her Dallas experience?
I sure can. So the reason I ended up in Dallas was because when Mona came back from Philly and she said on a call that she texted her husband on the way back from ISIU that she thinks she wants to go to Dallas, my husband was listening in. He was standing off on the side, but listening to the phone call. And when the call was over, he was like, I think you need to go to Dallas. And I was like, I think you're right. So I booked my ticket and we coordinated, and this is how that happened. So it really wasn't on my radar, like as a possibility, until we were like, why isn't it a possibility? It's, you know, the funds are there, the time is there, not a big deal. So, and I loved it. I had gone to UIA before in San Diego about 3 years ago, but I shared with Mona too at that time. UIA was the day after my daughter was in a really bad car crash, and she came with me. And it was a really good thing for her to be in that positive environment and not be home and moaning and groaning on the couch and feeling sorry for herself. But for me, and those of you that are moms or dads, you can relate that my focus was on her over the weekend and not on me. I was constantly looking, where's she at, what's she doing, is she feeling okay, is she in pain? And I did not get out of that event what I did out last time. So for sure, a very, very different experience. And gosh, I wrote down like 3 things. I have the whole workbook is scribbled over, and I thank goodness I took another notebook with me because I have so many notes from this. One thing that came up throughout the weekend was can we just stop comparing ourselves with where other people are in the business, on the team? Can we just stop saying, I've been doing this for 5 years, how come I'm not executive, come I'm not 2-star? When other people come in and they seem to be shooting to the top, like, you know, it's no big deal. And I said, you're looking at it from the wrong perspective. Count how many meaningful conversations have you had in the time that you've been in business. And look at the leaders, and they wrote down, there were a ton of top leaders, we're talking millionaires at the event that were sitting with us and learning and taking notes. But they gave their examples. How long have they been in business? And how many conversations did they have over the last 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, 12 years? They're in the thousands and thousands. And honestly, if I sit down and I look back, I know I'm not executive. I know I'm not 2-star. I'm not having enough conversations. But stop comparing and stop saying, I've been doing this for so long. Why am I not more successful in it? It's the meaningful conversations. It's not the likes and comments on Facebook. It's getting face to face or really offline and talking to someone and having meaningful conversations. So nothing I didn't really know before, but you know, when it gets put in front of you over and over again, it was like, yep, that's definitely where I need to step up. Now it's me talking, Anna. So that's one of them. Another one was, if we're not sharing the business and we're just talking about the product, we're not in business. We are loyal product users that share an experience, but we're not in business to be in business. And that was topped off with Jojo when she was on a panel on Sunday afternoon and said, if you want to change your life, you share the products. If you're out to change the world, you share the business. So sure, let's not neglect changing someone's life, but do we want to have a bigger reach? Do we want to do more than helping someone get in a bikini for the summer? That will happen when we open our mouth and we get over ourselves and we talk about the business opportunity. And that was another one. Hit me like a 2x4, nothing I didn't know before, but you know, it's just the timing when you hear things. So Ben agrees with me, our dog. So that's just the timing when you hear it and you're sitting with 400 people and you feel like they're just talking to you. One more thing, if I can have another minute, is if we're feeling stuck where we are, and that again, it doesn't matter if it's business, if it's in life, we can always behave ourselves out of that being stuck feeling. So you behave yourself out of it. You get out, you get active, you go walk, you go talk to people, you reach out to friends, you hang out with friends, you grab some coffee, you change your environment, you behave yourself out of that environment that makes you feel that you're stuck. And so we can rewire our brain at any time to live the life that we really want to live. That made me think about, I still have a full-time day job, and there's a couple of ladies in my office that really enjoy drama and gossip. So yesterday and today, I chose to leave the office for lunch. And yesterday, I walked around Costco and made a couple of new friends in passing, just said hello and what they were looking at. And we talked about product on the shelf at Costco. And it felt good. It felt good not to be sitting there and being exposed to something I didn't want to be exposed to anymore. So that was a really easy step to just say, behave myself out of something that didn't serve me, that made me feel stuck in an environment that I didn't care for. So it was just going out to lunch and leave the office, and it's all good. Those were like 3 things, you guys. Like I said, I have notebooks full from the weekend, but just a couple of things I hope you find value in and you get some maybe light bulb moments going off for you too. And I highly encourage you, if you can get to an event with David Wood, make it happen. It's like Mona said, it's about your business and about cycles, and it's nothing about your business and nothing about cycles. It's really tough to explain, but it's awesome. That's it.
So good. So you've been to one, you went back. What was the one thing that you took away from this past weekend that you had not expected? Because you had expectations going into it because you've been to one already, but you walked away like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. I can't believe I just heard that. I can't believe I just felt that. I can't believe. Or is there? Maybe not.
I don't think there was anything that was like, I've never heard that before, but because my focus at the last event was not on me, I didn't allow the teachings to really get to me. It was a totally new experience. And like I said, sometimes, you just need to hear it again from someone else at a different time until it finally sinks in with you. And so I don't think there was anything in particular that I said, oh my gosh, that's just like a totally new way of thinking or thought process or approach that I didn't know about. But hearing it and then actually feeling like this was said to me and I can now go out and apply it, that feeling I did not have the first time when I went.
Well, I'm so glad you were there. I'm so glad to have had this experience with you. And I appreciate you sharing some of what you learned, because it is hard to verbalize. It's hard to explain because it is so much and it is so intangible and different for everybody. So thank you. All right, Amber, you were there this weekend. Would you care to share your experience?
Of course. Oh my God, it was amazing. That is exactly what I need. In about 2 months, I'm going to leave my full-time job and do Isagenix as a full-time business. So that's exactly what I needed. I've been to NYKO before, and the difference in that and this is that it's so intimate. You get to know more people and know how they're like, and see the millionaires and see that they're just regular people. And it really helped when they gave the examples of how many conversations that they had, so you can, well, that's why, because they did 6,000 conversations to get to where they're at, and so that really made a huge difference for me, as well as mindset, knowing that you can retrain your brain. And it's like now I'm committed to doing, the core events. So Celebration, NYKO, and try to do something at least every 4 months, because like he said, you get to go in and then you kind of drop down. And if you don't have a method to kind of pick yourself back up, then you'll keep going down. And so that's my idea, is that, at least do that, or do, with Super Saturday or something, because we refill each other, because everybody's so positive and so energetic, and it's just like it's a totally different class of people that you're not around all the time, and you kind of forget that there's all these amazing people, and you get stuck in your own head, and it kind of helps you snap out of it. So it was wonderful, and I'll definitely be going to some more for sure. Worth it. So worth it.
May I ask you a couple of questions?
Yeah.
Did you wake up one day and said, I've got to be there? Or did someone say something? Like, what made you finally decide, I'm going to take the time out of my busy life, I'm going to take the money out of my budget, I'm going to get there somehow? Like, what made you decide to make some sacrifices to get there?
Well, I had listened to the Amplified Network Marketing podcast about a year ago. And I thought if any event that I was going to go to, it was going to be a David Wood. I'm just like, it was going to have to be, because he's so amazing. And that is why I have so much faith in network marketing, is because of the words that he said and shared in that podcast. And, so I knew I had to build my belief in myself, but I didn't go to Celebration last year. I guess I was just in a funk. And so I didn't go, and I feel like I want to change my life, and I know that this is the vehicle, because I know that you can give so much when you have the money to do. You can donate, you can make so much of a difference, and that's what I want. I want to have time freedom with my family, and I want to be able to give and not worry about, oh, I don't have an extra, whatever to give people. And the drive to change my life, and the fact that I knew that this event could, and it would propel me on, and I knew that I have certain goals, and I also know that I'm going to be able to Celebration. So that would be another to keep me going. So it was perfect. And it was in Dallas, and I live in Texas. So it was going to happen.
I love it. I'm glad you went. I'm glad you were there. I look forward to seeing how this really does kind of ignite the spark that you are going to experience as you continue to grow your business and transition out of the workspace that you're in to go into that. So thank you for sharing. Do you have anything else that you want to share, or should we move on to Miss?
I do want to share.
Yeah,
I want to share one more thing. Okay, so there was a lady that was sitting next to me at the event, and her name was Jocelyn, but I didn't catch her last name. But yeah, she walked down, I think, when they were handing out the different certificates, and so I'm not sure what rank she was. But anyway, she said, she asked me how many conversations I've had in the 2 years that I've been with Isagenix, and I said, maybe 150. I don't really know, maybe. And she's like, well, you know what you could do to keep track of it? She's like, use pennies. So, like how, certain leaders may have talked to people 6,000 times, 4,000 times, or whatever. She said to do 1,200 pennies. And I thought, well, why not put it in a jar? And she said, move it over. So this is what I did. Okay. So this is 1,000 pennies, right? So I just guessed, this is, with it being 1,000 pennies, and I broke it down to how much money it would be. And I move it over like I have another little jar. This is my week. And so that helps me. Okay, well, so my plan is, to see it. So that right there is $250,000. So I'm like, that pennies, that's $250,000. So I can look at it, I can move it over, I can touch it, I can see it. And so that's going to drive me. Now, you have to find your own way. But I thought, wow, that's a great, because I can look at it every day and think, those are just pennies, but that's $250,000. 1,000 conversations. Anyway.
That is brilliant.
That was pretty cool.
Friends, if you have one takeaway from this call, it's that penny jar, because that is, some people view it as $10 and some people view it as $250,000. Because conversations lead to activity, and activity yields lives changed, to include yours and your families. That's so amazing, Amber. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for asking if you could say one more thing, because that penny jar thing is literally money.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought too. I'm like, when I was like, oh my God, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. I love it.
Thank you,
Amber. All right, Miss Mary.
Thank you. Of course, some of the things that I was going to talk about, Katja and Amber did, so I'll kind of look at my notes a little bit. It was very good for mindset to be there. And if that is where anybody is lacking, your belief in yourself, or your belief in yourself as a network marketer, this is the event to get to, because it will bring your belief up notches, many notches. I was around 5-6 with those numbers at the beginning of the event, and by the end of the event, I was upwards more of 8, 9, maybe even a 10, getting real close to that 10. Which I've never been there before, so it's amazing. But it's being committed and making intentional steps forward that I will be doing. David showed us like different charts of how people may stay sort of on a runway for a while and then work their way up, and then maybe get on a plateau and maybe fall and then work up a little bit and whatnot. And that's entirely normal, to maybe go real slow, or to have those plateaus, or even the valleys. It's normal. Most businesses are going to have that. Not every business is just going to go straight up Those are the rock star people that do that, but most will not. So knowing that it's normal to take it a little bit slower kind of reinforced me to want to kind of get moving a little faster. But it was also my wealth can only grow as fast as I grow. So because I hadn't done a lot of personal growth, I think it was showing that I wasn't doing as well as I intend to do. So that was huge. And I am getting back into reading some more personal growth type books and will help myself along the way. And definitely getting to events is key in helping with all of that. Linking arms with other people. It doesn't matter whether they're on your team or another team. You can link arms with other people and ask them to do three-way calls, which I'm guilty. I've never done one. I choose to do more. And I'm also changing the way I talk. If you noticed, I said instead of saying need, I said choose, because that was a big thing, was changing how you talk to yourself. When you have those negative thoughts come to mind, think the opposite. Think the positive thought and kind of rewire your brain. You're able to do that, which I think is so exciting. David also suggested that live an extraordinary life. Take a class, find a new hobby, and then that way you'll meet new people that maybe aren't already in your life, where you can have a little bit of a rapport being in that class or hobby or whatever it is, and then it can lead into more authentic sharing. And then, of course, asking for referrals. I don't think I've ever done that. And then the event, something happens to you, the story you attach to it determines whether it's a problem or not a problem. So he used his son's car accident as an example, or a car accident that he was in with his sons as an example that, that could have torn his entire life apart. It could have torn out, a lot of time. But he made sure his kids were okay, and he went to the other driver, asked the other driver if he was okay. The other driver was apologetic. David just gave him a big hug, and that was the end of the story. Yeah, the car was totaled, but that can be replaced. Everybody walked away from that accident, so why make it any more than it was? So there was an event. There was not a negative story, so there was no problem. And that is the kind of mindset that I want to keep going forward with. And I'm sure there's plenty more, but it won't take up too much more time.
I love that because it goes back to the event had nothing to do with nutrition or cycles, and it had everything to do with living and leading a good life that you could feel good about. Because the story that you tell and about how you, or the example that you tell and how we deal with these stories and the story that we create in our brains is going to determine, are we going to be angry and bitter and frustrated and anxious, or are we going to be grateful and loving and forgiving? And that doesn't have anything to do with shakes. But it might have everything to do with how we approach the next conversation and helping someone with some shakes. So nothing and everything to do with our business, all at the same time. You went there expecting something, hoping for something. Did you have any expectations there? Or were you just going thinking something's going to happen? I just don't know what it is.
I knew I needed to be there to change, to help my mindset. I was already trying to change it a little bit through, I I reread The Secret a week or two ago, knowing that I needed to start changing some of my thought processes. And so going there and having it all reinforced just made sense to get there. And for a couple of years now, I've been wanting to meet David Wood anyway, so this was just the best way to do it.
So did you meet him?
I got a selfie at the very end, just before we finished our last dance, or whatever you want to call that, at the end. So yeah, I
Mission
did.
accomplished.
Yes.
Mary went to go meet David T.S. Wood, and you know what? By the end of day one, there's no way she would have walked up to him and asked for a picture. Like, she wouldn't have gotten out of her seat. By day 3, he's a celebrity, and she's just walking up to him like she deserves that selfie. Talk about mindset shift, folks. Hello.
And he was great about it.
And you had the courage to do it. Like, you deserve that picture. You went and got that picture. Good for you. Good for you. So we all have choices. We all have choices in you know, do we get up with a good open heart to help people if they need it? And not necessarily with nutrition or with the amazing solutions that we have, but just help. Do we get up and want to keep our, face in our phone? Because there's some days that I do. And he made me really think about that. Like, do I want to wake up and interact and be helpful and make someone's day? Or do I want to be hyper-focused on my phone? Because that's so simple. And we have a choice. The next event's going to pop up. And I mean, we can find really good excuses. Like, when it comes time for excuse time, like, we get like hyper creative. It is amazing what our minds can do when we don't want to do something. But maybe we find really great reasons why we get to the next event or pick up the phone or approach someone. Like, maybe we get out from behind those excuses and face whatever that fear, whatever that challenge is. Like, maybe we go from people that just don't do events to people that find ways to do events. And you look at these leaders, these business leaders, and it really is all about the events. Like, if you did nothing else in your business but drag people to events, you could build a business that way. You could build a business just taking a posse of people to events. They'll buy their own shakes, they'll build their own businesses, and they'll bring more people to events.
I think the statistic is that if you bring one person to an event, they'll make you at least $1,000. So you bring 10 people, $10,000, and it just like Amber's pennies, they multiply.
And if you don't have a good money story, take someone to an event. There's like millions or 240 some odd good money stories. And those are the $1 million money stories. Those aren't the extra $500 that saved someone's marriage. Those aren't the $1,000 that helped create a different stream of income to give opportunities. Like, that's 200 and some odd $1 million stories. But for so many of us, for so many people out there, they don't need to make $1 million to be able to sleep at night. They just need a few $100s. And if you don't have that few $100 story, take someone to an event. Let someone else share their $100 story, $1,000 story, $1 million story. And that's why the events are important. Because if we don't have the story, we'll go find a story out there. Because there are so many. And there's going to be probably 20,000 stories at Celebration. Should you go, take a friend and share with them this amazing community. Because you don't leave an event feeling like, oh, what a waste. You leave an event feeling like, oh my God, I just made new friends, built deeper relationships, and I'm a better person. So, something to think about. All right. I feel like I've talked so much. I'm sorry, guys. Does anyone else have anything interesting, insightful, something they want to say about the next round of events coming up? Laura?
Mona, it's Laura. You little rock star, you. I'm so excited for you. So excited for you because you're so amazing and such a great business partner and just always positive, and we love you. So thank you for you. I just wanted to remind everyone, and I don't know if you said at the beginning because I came on like 2 minutes late, is that with Celebration, if you have someone that's a preferred customer and they switch to associate, they get $100 off the ticket. So that got me someone to come. So so I sent her the email and I said, hey, why don't you just come with me? We're going to drive up. We've got a group of us going. They're giving $100 off, just shift over. And now she's like, probably tomorrow now, she will not only be an associate, but she'll be a consultant. So that's a great thing. So, and she's still like, well, I don't really know if I really want to sell or anything. I said, I don't care what you do. I said, just come to the event, even if you just have fun. I said, whatever you take from it is, if you take that you learn stuff about what you're putting in your body, and that we go and we have a great time, we drink a lot of shakes, and then we go out at night and you get inspired. I said, there are no expectations except that you just get in the car with me and we go and we have a great time. But we all know what Celebration or any event does to people just based on what everyone's saying on this call. So don't forget that. So if you have, and I don't know the deadline on that, but if you have associates or preferred customers, if they switch to associate, it's $150 now. So it's back to that original discounted price.
Such good stuff. And I love that you said, just come, no expectations. The worst thing that's going to happen is you come, we drink some shakes, have some fun, feel inspired.
Right. Totally.
How terrible a trip is that?
Exactly. Girls weekend. So anyway.
I love it. I love how you phrase it. Like we're just going to go and have some fun. Mm-hmm. And I think that as we talk to people about that, like you never know who's out there that is just looking for a group of friends that they can go with and spend some quality time with no expectations and just have some fun. Like maybe there's someone out there that's looking for an invitation like that and they've never been invited to go anywhere with girlfriends or couple friends or their dude friends or whatever. Like maybe someone is just waiting for the opportunity to say yes.
And that's such a good point because it's like, I think that sometimes we don't realize that. We don't realize that there's a lot of people out there that don't have connection. And, you know, this woman, I've known her for years. She's got 4 kids, 4 daughters. And, you know, we did a little happy hour with my team here. And she came and her husband and her have just been using the product, and she came. And Pam was like, she would be really fun. She should come. I'm like, come with us. And she called me the next day and she said, are you sure you want me to come? I'm like, why wouldn't we? So I think to your point, Mona, it's like, just like, it doesn't hurt to ask, you know, let's just go have a good time and no expectation, but I can share, I can tell you what, you're going to have fun and you're going to be inspired. So I think that's a really good point because I think sometimes we get so focused in on, like you were even saying at the beginning of the call, the business, but it's really the heart, you know, and that's what your whole weekend in Dallas was about. And I've been to David Wood before too, and it's all about the heart. And if we can just show that, then we can show what our food has done for our lives and what can do for our lives. It's not the food. It's not what the food does great things, but it's what the food makes people. How it transforms people, not just their body, but their heart and their mind. So anyway, I'm rambling, but great point on that, Mona.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you guys for joining us. Carving out time in your super busy lives. There are other people that want to spend time with you. There are other chores you could be doing. There's sleep that you could be getting, and you've decided to make this a priority. And I appreciate that because it's not a lot, but it kind of is at the same time. And so the fact that you say, you know what, being on here is important to me, it's important to our team. It's important to what it means. Maybe I'll get something out of it. And you guys have made it a priority tonight. And I thank each and every one of you, because this would be really lonely to be trying to navigate this very unique world without a diverse group of people that kind of got your back and kind of get it, because it can be confusing. But when you look up and you say, hey, you know, I've got this team of people and they all believe in me and they all believe in what we do. And if I needed help, support, love, motivation, just an answer to a question, then I've got these, 15, 20 people that I meet once a week. And I know that they will help me during my times of feeling in a slump, or just feeling a little like, where's the spark, or just confused about a nutrition question. Simple as that. You got people that are here to help support you. So thank you all for being here, showing your faces, listening into the call. Hope that you guys will join us next Tuesday. And if you guys need anything at all, you know where to find me, you know where to find the rest of the group. So be sure and holla. But I think that that's all we got for the night, unless anybody else wants to end it. All right, then I'm going to say good night, because quality sleep is part of optimal health. So screen time should be over soon for those of us on the East Coast. Let's get some good sleep so that we are energized and ready to take on our day tomorrow. Good night, friends.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody. Thank
Bye,
you.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.